The river is where poker feels hardest, not because it is complex, but because there is nowhere left to hide. There are no more cards to come, no future equity, and no implied odds. There is only a decision, and most players approach that decision in the wrong order. They start with their hand and ask whether they can call with it. That question feels natural, but it is backward. Strong players do not start with their hand, they start with the range. River thinking is not about bravery, it is about sequence, and the sequence matters more than the conclusion. Most players follow an emotional order. They ask what they have, how strong it is, and whether they believe the opponent. Strong players use a different order, and they follow it consistently. The first question is what the opponent's range looks like after this line. Not what it could have been earlier, but what survives to this moment. Every street removes hands, and by the river the range is narrow. That is where clarity begins. The second question is whether that range is polarized or merged. Are they betting only very strong hands and bluffs, or are medium-strength hands still present? This distinction changes how you defend. The third question is, which hands in your own range are meant to continue? Not which hands could continue, but which ones should. Which hands block value, which unblock bluffs, and which arrive here in a natural way. This step is about selection, not emotion. The fourth question is where your specific hand falls within that structure. Only at this point does your hand enter the decision. Not first, but last. This order removes confusion, because by the time you evaluate your hand, the decision is often already clear. Your hand either fits the role, or it does not. Strong players do not ask whether their hand is good enough. They ask whether their hand belongs in the defending portion of their range. That is a quieter question, and an easier one to answer. This is why elite players appear decisive, not because they are confident, but because the work has already been done. They are not improvising, they are placing pieces. When players struggle on the river, it is rarely because the spot is close. It is because the thinking was disordered. They jump to the final step without doing the earlier ones. This also explains why outcomes can be misleading. You can call with the wrong process and still win. You can fold correctly and still see a bluff. Neither outcome changes the quality of the thinking. River decisions are not about being right once. They are about being aligned over time. Alignment outperforms intuition. Strong players do not fear being bluffed. They understand that some bluffs must succeed. That is not failure, that is structure. They also do not chase certainty, because poker does not offer certainty. It offers consistency. Once you learn this sequence, river spots become quieter. Not in the time you take, but in the noise in your head. The panic fades. The debate fades. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop saying that you feel like you should call, and you start saying that this hand is part of your defense or it is not. There is no drama and no story, just placement. That is how strong players think on the river, not emotionally and not heroically, but structurally. Once you adopt that lens, rivers stop feeling intimidating and start feeling mechanical. I'm Alex Mercer, and that's The Spot.